feel affects manifestation fast. So if you're noticing something unwanted and feeling around it, it's affecting more manifestation fast. And you say, well, things aren't so good. Things could be a lot better. I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. And the universe says, well, then you're not going to like this, and you're not going to like this, and you're not going to like this, and you're not going to like this. And you say, right, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. I should call somebody. I should call somebody and ask them how they would like that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Because maybe if I drag someone else into my chain of pain, they'll take some of it and go off and bury it somewhere. And we say, no, that isn't the way it works. When you involve someone else, now you become more specifically focused upon what isn't wanted, which leads us to really what we think is the most important part of understanding how to connect with your vortex and how to stay in vibrational alignment with your vortex long enough that you begin to see the effect of the manifestations as quickly as now. You were following us earlier when we were talking about the problem creates an equivalent solution. You follow that? But they are different frequencies. So if you're fixated on the problem, you don't have access to the solution, not right now anyway. So the more you focus upon any problem, the more detailed it becomes. In other words, you get focused up on a problem and it comes from every direction. Have you noticed? Standing in line with strangers and they're talking about the very problem. Oh, I can't believe you're saying that. That just happened to me. So as you are focused with greater and greater detail upon the problem begins to gain more momentum. Now, it's a wonderful thing. It's also causing the solution to gain more momentum, but you're not a vibrational match to the solution, so the crevasse, the gap between where you are and who you really are gets wider and wider, and you feel worse and worse. So the more detailed you get, the more specific you get about a problem, the more you hold yourself in vibrational opposition to feeling good and to the solution to your problem and to being who you really are. And so if you are set on specific detail of unwanted things, that's what's going to come back to you. So you're just sort of holding yourself in that spiral of knowing what you don't want and getting more of it, knowing what you don't want and getting more of it, knowing what you don't want and getting more of it. Now, of course, you're not just doing that. You're focused upon a lot of things that you do want. But mostly, you're not doing very much of it on purpose. And the reason you're not doing very much of it on purpose is because most everybody you know, 99% of human population is offering your vibrational frequency in response to what you're observing. So if something good happens, you offer a good feeling response, and you goose a little bit more of that into your experience. But if something bad happens, or if you see something unwanted, then you're filling your vibrational coffers with that, so to speak. We've been talking about this vortex. You get it, don't you? Conceptually, it's an idea that you can wrap your thoughts around. And we've been letting you know that there is potentially a vibrational gap between who you really are, which is the done deal, the vibrational doneness, it's done, and what you have so far allowed to manifest because of what's going on vibrationally. And Esther said to Jerry the other day, you know, I realize that I've loved the idea of the vortex and I have wanted to be in it as much as I can. So I have been approaching my reality by trying to think the thoughts that make me align with my vortex. Makes sense. Look for things to appreciate. Look for things to bask about. If I find myself feeling negative about something, pivot from it. Say to myself, I know what I don't want. What is it that I do want? Which is a logical approach to lining up with your vortex. But Esther said, this last week or so, it has flipped for me because now I get it that if I let the vortex and what it means and how it feels be all that I'm thinking about, then in establishing my relationship with the vortex, and every day I'm in it, many times, if I milk my vortex when I'm in it, if I keep it going when I'm there, if I find myself on a happy thought and I rampage it longer, if I let my vortex be my undivided intention, if I let my vortex be what I'm reaching for, I now get it, she said, that my vortex affects my manifestation. It's a different way of approaching it. In other words, what we want you to gather as a result of the conversation that we're having here today, and as a result of what's going to go on in your lives in the next hours and days and weeks, as a result of what you pick up from this leading edge conversation, what you're going to come to know is that you have complete control over every manifestation that happens in your life if you approach it from inside the vortex. For example, so something happens. Maybe someone walks into your experience and they don't jive with you in the way you would like them to. They're annoying in some way, or they're unknowledgeable in some way, or they're belligerent in some way. They're abusing someone in some way. It doesn't matter. You witnessed it and you're having a knee-jerk response to it. And as you're having this negative emotion, the reason you're having the negative emotion is because you're responding to it in the way that you are. And if you feel negative emotion, it means that your inner being is responding to it in an entirely different way. In other words, what you're feeling isn't about what you've witnessed. It's about your relationship with the larger part of you who's having a different experience. Can you hear that? Because who you really are is loving this obnoxious person, even though you are not. And so the rift that you've got going on is the separation is too strong a word between who you really are and who you're being. So that's a manifestation that happened. This is the thing that we want you to realize. That person walked into your life and you experienced that manifestation. When we talk about manifestations, we know you think we're talking about cars and empires and legacies and books and relationships and all those pinnacle sort of things that you have been thinking of in terms of goals that you're reaching for. But we want you to understand that what manifestations are, what we really mean by manifestation is what's happening now. This is a manifestation. This room, these lights, these screens, this sound, this people, this global audience. This is a manifestation that's happening right here and now. Your relationship with your chair, your relationship with the people you're sitting next to. This is a manifestation. It's happening now. Manifestation. Everything that is happening around you is a manifestation that is evidence of one thing and one thing only: your relationship with your vortex. Your relationship with your vortex. So the fact that this annoying person is there, or this belligerent person is there, is your manifestation, which is simply reflecting back to you your relationship with your vortex. That's all. So what we want you to understand is that when you have anything going on that is not wanted, whether it is mild or severe, that the more specific you are, the more severe it becomes. And that the answer to breaking that pattern is to not try to jump into the pure positive, because you can't, but to get general. And we're talking generally negative. So as you begin speaking generally negative instead of specifically negative, then this spiral that's got a grip on you begins to lose its grip. And you begin noticing right away by the feedback that comes back to you. Two kinds of feedback coming to you: emotional feedback and manifestational feedback. We really want you to think of manifestational feedback as the best friend that you've ever had, because what manifests is reflecting where you are. What manifests is reflecting what you are creating. What you are creating. What you are creating. Not what happened to you. Not what happened to somebody else. What you are creating. What you are creating. What you are creating. What you are creating. It would be like driving down the freeway. Esther does it frequently. And those little bumps on the side of the road that quite often awaken Jerry from his nap, because he knows that something could be going terribly wrong when he hears those bumps on the side of the road. And it would be like just completely ignoring the side of the road. Oh, I know it says don't enter, that it's one-way traffic coming the other way, but what the heck? Odds are I'll do all right. I'm alert. And we say, you just don't want to play with fire like that. When negative emotion is present, it's letting you know that you have entered a minefield where the likelihood of you observing more things that are going to hold you and cause you to be more specific is very great. So when you say, I'm going to pay attention to the way I feel, and I'm going to notice that the more general I am about something that doesn't feel good, that the better I feel. And then you begin noticing the manifestational evidence of that. Now you're on a roll. And now you have just stepped in, you've just clicked in to your maybe first, at least it's happening now, awareness of what deliberate creation really is deliberately feeling, is thinking and feeling. So now, as you find something that is generally negative, now do you know it is just so logical and simple for you to move into something that is generally positive. We're going to do this with any of you who are willing today about anything that is important to you if you want to move your energy on things. Because as you move into that generally negative place, it's fairly easy to move into a generally positive place. And when you do that, you're going to feel relief even in a stronger way. But the thing that you're going to notice is manifestations are going to come right around you as evidence that you have made that vibrational shift. You've got this sort of split going on often that feels like frustration or overwhelmment that now it is your job to do something about. And that's why we talk to you all day, every day about the art of allowing, about assessing the vibrational difference between who you have actually become. Are you getting what we mean? Do you believe that when you launch a rocket that your inner being actually embraces it and becomes it? Do you know that when you're sick, vibrationally you're weller? That when you don't have enough of something, that vibrationally you have more of it? That when you're confused, vibrationally you're clearer? In other words, this is the way this dynamic universe and the evolution of all species occurs. So there is this vibrational part of you who is calling you home, calling you home, calling you home. And we want to say to you, you're going. The question is, are you going willingly? Because if you relax into it, if you just let go, if you just acknowledge you've done the work, the isness of the vibrational reality is in place. The cooperative components have already been assembled. They will show you amazing things. You will defy the logic of all kinds of people as this vortex does its work. The question is, where are you in vibrational relationship to it? We don't need to tell you about law of attraction. Law of attraction is like the law of gravity. You can't turn it off, and it is always responding to everything you've got going on vibrationally. It is responding to what you've got going on. It equals your point of attraction. In other words, law of attraction is responding to what you've got going on. So for a while, we've been explaining to you that as contrast causes you to know what you want more clearly, and always in the beginning of that knowing what you want, because the contrast has given birth to it, you're not vibrationally up to speed with it. There is this vibrational gap that's going on because law of attraction is now responding to your inner being who is in the vortex, who is lining up all of the cooperative components big time in order to assist you in the full manifestation and realization of everything that you want. And here you are, having whatever thoughts and beliefs and expectations that you had usually before you launched the desire. So there is this sort of duality going on where law of attraction is responding to both parts of you. The in the vortex part of you and the potentially not in the vortex part of you. So this is the thing that we really want to emphasize. When you care about how you feel, your vortex will affect, it will cause, it will facilitate a manifestation that is seeable, hearable, smellable, tasteable, touchable. In other words, the manifestation hot on the heels of your alignment that you feel at first. So if you could just give up your need to see it before you believe it, and instead be willing to feel it and believe it before you see it, we have enjoyed this interaction more than words can convey. This has been a delicious unfolding and one of our favorites ever, in that there has been so much obvious manifestation on the heels of vibrational work of different people who have been in the audience. Haven't you enjoyed that? And don't you love knowing that manifestation is so close on the heels that you could call it instant manifestation? And don't you want to begin observing the manifestations, wanted and unwanted, as you reflect back the vibrational stance that you had going? Don't you think that this understanding is going to put you in the driver's seat of everything that's going to be coming to you?